All right, guys. Again, we missed another day, but I'm optimistic that we can get on track and be just fine for the semester. This is going to be the second video of two videos in the email that I have sent to you, and I'm going to briefly talk about everything. So first off, let's talk about the three documents you got. The first one is the syllabus. This is the 8:30 syllabus, so if you're in the 10 o'clock class, the only thing that's different is your course ID. Again, this is the 8:30 one. Everything else is pretty much the same, and I think I've gone over everything that's on here in the previous video. So just print it off, read it. If you have questions, let me know. So that's the syllabus. Second thing that you should have is the course schedule or course calendar. So I was going to talk about this on day one, but for lack of time, I'm going to go ahead and talk about it here. So everything that you should see here is kind of a breakdown of everything that we plan to do for the semester. Now, obviously, we're already off track because of missing 3 days, but we'll try to get back on track this week and next. So we'll work on that. A couple of things I want you to pay attention to. You should see the dates here and then what day that corresponds to, the chapter that we're working off of, the topic that we're working with, the sections over here, and then a couple other things. Now, the warm-ups are out of your MT StatPal Math 1530 workbook. That is the $4 thing that you need to get from the bookstore. So all of these warm-ups will be in that workbook. So again, you need to go get that. So I hope that you have that by Wednesday. The other thing that will also be in that workbook is the in-class activities. Now you'll notice that we don't have an in-class activity and a warm-up for every day. It's only on some days. But pretty regularly, we're going to be accessing that book. So I need you to have that every day in class. So just bring that with your notebook that you plan to take on notes with. So these two columns come out of that 1530 student workbook that you'll go buy at the on-campus bookstore. It's the only place you can get it. And we're going to do these two things the first day of class. So we're going to compress that. I know it says it's in 2 days. We're going to do it in one, and I'll talk about how we're rearranging this in class Wednesday. The only other thing I haven't mentioned yet is the MT StatPal homework. Now, I know this is going to be a little confusing, and you're going to have to get used to this. You have homework that's on MyMathLab, and you will be doing that almost daily. So when we cover sections, you'll have homework that's due on there the next class meeting day at midnight. And again, that's on your syllabus to remind you of when those are due. A little bit different at the beginning of the semester, but pretty much that's how we're going to stay. The other things that are here are going to be completed in D2L. Now notice that I said mostly completed. There are a couple of assignments that will not be completed in D2L, and I will prompt you for those as we get to them. So for example, you'll see these first two. It says populations and samples, HH. That HH stands for helper hinderer. It's just an abbreviation that I used. The other one is graphs and descriptive statistics. You'll also see that they both say post on it. What does that mean? That means that I expect you to do these assignments after we have done the activity that corresponds with it. So I know I've gotten some emails already about should I be doing the quiz that's on D2L. No, not yet, because we haven't done the helper hinderer activities. So once we do this, which will correspond to the same day that you see this here, then I will expect you to do that activity on D2L sometime after that. Now, I don't expect that to be done the next class day because some of the activities on there have videos and you have to watch them and then take quizzes and things like that. So I usually give you a couple of days in order to do that, and we'll talk about those due dates specifically when we get to one of those assignments. So on Wednesday, we'll talk about when this one's due. I'm actually going to show you that in just a second. So you'll see that one says post as well. So after we do this activity, graphs and descriptive statistics, I'll expect you to do that after that class day. Now there are some that say pre on them. So notice this one here, it says regression pre. Now again, this one is done on D2L. Now since it says pre, it means that I actually expect you to have this one done before the next class meeting. Now you'll notice that it says regression pre, and then notice the next activity says regression. So I expect you to have this one done before you actually walk into class on February 8th, if that date stays, which I hope that it does. So you'll notice all of them say pre or post. Most of them say post. There are a couple that say pre, and so we'll be looking at those, like I said, daily. So I'll use, because I have to keep these straight too. I'll have these with me and go, hey, by the way, don't forget to Okay, so let me show you what D2L looks like. If you haven't ever been on D2L, the way that I get to it is just by going to the MTSU website, and then I go to Quick Links, and then I go to D2L. And then it asks you to sign in. Now, I'm already signed in, so I'm already there. Now, this may look a little bit different than what your side looks like. I don't really know what your side looks like, but neither here nor there. If you scroll down to the bottom, you should see our class. Now, again, you'll be in one of these. So let's just go to the 8:30 class. Again, if you're in the 10 o'clock class, it should say KO2. Once you go in there, the only thing that's on there, here, let me go ahead and switch it to the student view. The only thing that's on there is the D2L assignments, again, that correspond to the calendar we just looked at. So if you click on content, which is the way I go, if you click on content, you'll see the activities listed here. Now, actually, not all of them are listed as they should be because we're still developing a couple of them, but we have enough to get us started. So the first one, helper hinderer, right here, if you click on that, it brings you to this, and then you click on helper hinderer, and then it will show you, hey, let's continue the quiz. Now, the only thing that restricts you on here is the due date. So you'll notice that this one I have set up due for January 31st, which is Sunday. And I hope to keep that day the same because I don't want us to get too far behind. And then you can hit continue quiz and you can go in there and look at that. So again, you'll have a couple of those throughout the semester. But again, most of your work will be done on MyMathLab. And again, I showed you that in the other video. So all you have homework on MyMathLab, and then every once in a while you'll be doing stuff here in D2L. But I'll remind you of that as we progress. But again, if you miss class, you're going to have to see that calendar on your own. You're going to have to stay on track with that. So that's your responsibility. Okay, so that's D2L. The other file that I sent you is your checklist. Now, I actually developed this little checklist for Monday because I thought we were going to meet Monday. Obviously, that's not happening. But I still am going to stick by this. So, number one, get registered on MyMathLab or MyStatLab. Either one. They take you to the same place. But again, that's www.coursecompass.com or mymathlab.com. Either place will take you to the same one. So get registered ASAP. There's a couple of you that have registered in both classes, but not all of you are registered. So please do that soon, today. The second thing you need to do is get the student workbook. This, again, is where those activities are going to come out of that we'll be doing in class. So the warm-ups and the in-class activities that are on that calendar are going to be coming out of this workbook, and I expect you to have that in class every day. I'm going to stick by this right now. Complete the helper, hinderer, and the graphs and descriptive statistics quizzes on D2L by Sunday. Now, I will stick by that on the helper, hinderer because we are going to do that one on Wednesday. We'll see about the graphs and statistics quiz. I don't know that that's going to happen, but for right now, I'm going to stick by it. Also, watch Chapter 1 videos on MML before Wednesday. I still expect you to do that. I didn't show you where those were, but let me do that real quick. So, coursecompass.com, you will already have registered. And then we'll go in here. So, again, let's just go into the 8 o'clock class. 8:30 class, excuse me. So, once you click here, if you go over here on the left, you'll see a section that says click me for videos on individual sections. Not the same as the D2L videos. D2L videos are the ones, sorry, there's some phone going off. The D2L videos are associated with each activity, so don't confuse the two. Sorry guys, let me turn whatever this is off. Okay. So if you go into Unit 1, Chapter 1, you'll see these videos, and that'll get you started to be able to do the Chapter 1 homework. Again, I'm going to leave that up to you. It's mostly terminology and such, so I'm not going to spend as much class time on that. Again, going into the homework, you'll see that I have homework for Chapter 1, also due Sunday. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but these are not that in-depth. I also have Chapter 2 closing out Sunday. Again, not an in-depth chapter. Now, I'll probably have to adjust the Chapter 3 stuff because that's probably not going to happen, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm not going to adjust anything just yet, but definitely need to work on these. You can do that by watching the videos, and definitely need to be working on these. We will have some time. We'll spend some time in class on those. Okay, I guess that's it. So if you have any questions, obviously let me know. Again, work on this checklist. So again, that was watching the videos. I showed you where those were. Definitely work on Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 homework. Those are going to be due Sunday. I don't know about this 3.1 section. We'll see. If you have any questions, let me know. Please print the syllabus, the course calendar, and this checklist off for Wednesday. And again, I expect that you will have watched the videos for Chapter 1 by Wednesday as well. They're not that in-depth. Take some notes. Again, practice taking notes, watching the videos, because that can really help you in class. We'll talk about D2L again. Like I said, I don't know.